You were right about Beckham. Here's the scheme that cost him his knighthood. Right, this is a follow-up video. The other day I made a video about how David Beckham pays less tax than you. It's up there somewhere. If you haven't seen it, watch it after this one, because today only makes sense on top of it. Now, the comments on that video, you lot are not daft. The most liked comments said, more or less, corporation tax isn't income tax there and the money's still inside the company. He has to pay tax again to get it out. And that's completely correct. So today I owe you two things. First, the honest version of the company maths, including the bit where the company route can actually be worse than a payslip. And second, the story I only gave you 90 seconds of last time because David Beckham did once sign up to an actual tax scheme. A proper one, a brochure, a promise, and a decade and a half in court. And it cost him something money can't buy back. If you're new here, subscribe. This channel explains how the wealthy actually structure their money legally so you can use the same rules. That video plus this one is exactly what the channel does. Let's do the correction properly with numbers. Last time I compared corporation tax at 25% against top rate income tax at 45%. Obviously, I've been an accountant for 20 years and I know that's not an apples for apples comparison, but I was just trying to get some rage bait. But the comment section was a bit brutal. Say your company makes £1 million of profit, corporation tax takes 25%, 750,000 left in the company. Now you want it in your personal bank account. Out it comes as dividends, and at the top rate, dividend tax takes another 39.35% of everything you draw. Run the whole lot out in 1 year and you keep roughly 455,000 quid. That's an effective rate of about 54.5%. Worse than a payslip. A salary at the same level loses you roughly 47% at the top slice. So yes, commenters, if you take every pound out the moment it's earned, the company route isn't a loophole. It's a longer queue to a bigger tax bill. So why does every wealthy person in Britain still run their money through a company? Because they don't strip it out. The advantage was never the 25%. The advantage is what the structure lets you do. Beckham doesn't strip footwork productions to zero every April. The money stays in, gets invested, gets managed, comes out in the years and the shapes that suit him. The rapper isn't the magic, the patience is. Now, the story you actually came for. Early 2000s, David Beckham, along with Wayne Rooney, Gary Lineker, Robbie Williams, Ant and Dec, Jeremy Paxman, and hundreds of other famous names put money into film investment partnerships run by a company called Ingenious Media. And here's what made it seductive. It wasn't fake. These partnerships financed real films, enormous ones. Avatar, Life of Pi, real cameras, real studios, real Oscar nominations. The tax part worked on something called sideways loss relief. Film production books huge losses in the early years on paper. As a partner in the scheme, you could take your share of those paper losses and set them sideways against your other income, your endorsement income, your salary, your appearance fees. Invest £1, borrow alongside it the way the scheme arranged, and the early year loss attached to your name could be a multiple of the cash you actually put in. Tax bill shrunk, sometimes practically deleted. HMRC looked at all of this and said, those losses are engineered. A tribunal in 2016 agreed. It found the partnerships were structured to inflate losses and called the arrangement tax avoidance. 1,600 million quid of claimed losses. That was the size of the fight. Right, honest question, and I want the answer in the comments. It's 2004, you're earning millions. A polished man in a beautiful suit slides a brochure across the table. Real films, big names, already in, your tax bill cut in half, all apparently legal. Yes or no? Would you have signed? Be honest. I read every comment and I really want to know, and I'll reply. Here's what the brochure never shows you. The timeline. 2016, the first tier tribunal, mostly HMRC's way. The losses, as claimed, don't stand. 2019, the upper tribunal, fully HMRC's way. The partnerships, it said, weren't even trading with a view to profit. 2021, the Court of Appeal, and this is where it gets genuinely interesting, because the film partnerships won something real. The court ruled they were trading with a view to profit after all. It wasn't a sham. Anyone who tells you Beckham was in a scam is wrong, and you can quote the Court of Appeal at them. But, and this is the bit that matters, winning the trading point did not hand the investors the tax relief they'd been sold. The losses they could actually claim were a fraction of the brochure number, and years before any of it was settled, HMRC had sent investors accelerated payment notices. Pay the disputed tax now, up front, and argue afterwards. Imagine that letter landing, a 7-figure demand for money you legally spent 15 years earlier on advice on something a court would eventually say wasn't a sham. So who won? The lawyers. 15 years of fees on both sides. The investors ended up with stress, legal bills, repayment demands, headlines, and a court ruling that says, in effect, it wasn't a scam, but it didn't work either. That's the defining feature of a scheme. Even when you win, you lose. Now the part of this story that has nothing to do with money or tax. David Beckham, captain of England, OBE at 28, global ambassador, the most marketable British athlete of his generation, should have been Sir David sometime around 2011. Everyone expected it. It kept not happening. In 2017, leaked emails showed exactly how furious he was about it, and the reporting around those leaks pointed at one thing. The honours system had red flagged him over his tax affairs, over Ingenious. Think about what that means. The scheme was eventually held by the Court of Appeal not to be a sham. He was never charged with anything. It didn't matter. The association alone was enough to park one of the most famous sportsmen on earth in the waiting room for a decade. He was finally named in the King's birthday honours in June 2025 and knighted at Windsor Castle in November 2025. Sir David Beckham, eventually. The image rights company, the boring legal structure from my last video, never cost him a thing. The clever scheme cost him 10 years of the one thing he reportedly wanted most. So here's the full Beckham picture across 2 videos. The structure, the image rights company, profit retained at 25%. The boring, defensible kind is the only kind we build, and it's what every one of our clients runs on. If you want to restructure the legal way without anything that follows you around for 15 years and might cost you a knighthood, that's exactly the conversation I have with clients. Apply for a review at apply.ctprivateoffice.com. The link's on screen up here somewhere, and it's in the description and the pinned comments. Now, we don't take everyone, but if this video made you slightly nervous, you're probably who should apply. Like this video if the comments section made it happen, because it did, and every like tells YouTube that correcting your own video is worth doing. And the comment question stands. Yes or no? The brochure, the suit? Thanks for watching.